many years ago, but it was a grudging friendship for me at first. As a matter of fact, I met him at CCAC. I was a pretty shy person at the time, and in my music class, I noticed this guy. He wears this freaky green coat. He's got this hair that sticks out above his head, Einsteinian-like. And he makes weird comments to people. This guy's like really strange to me. I'm trying to avoid him most of the time. Well, then I notice he's in another one of my classes. And one day, he must have noticed I was in two of his classes, and he starts nodding to me. Not to want to be rude, I just nod back. And then, as a matter of fact, as the next couple weeks went by, this became pretty normal for us. We'd look for each other and nod. I'm still thinking to myself, why is this guy nodding to me? But after a while, what ended up happening is we actually started to seek each other out in class. Now, we sat way across from each other. We never spoke, but we'd look at each other 7, 8 times in a class just to nod. So that was the way our friendship started. All right, but I can still remember the first time he talked to me. I was outside of our music class, and it was some philosophical discourse, and I'm like, boy, that guy's strange. Well, it just so happens that later on that night, I started to think about what we talked about, and I said, hey, that was actually kind of fun. So what ends up happening is we basically build a friendship on philosophical discourse, talking about things that we think we really know what we're talking about. We know what's wrong with the world and how to fix it. Well, you know, we realize that's not true after a while. But so from those humble beginnings, Mark and I built a friendship that will last a lifetime. Mark's one of those friends who you can always rely on, you can always count on, and he and I are about as close as a couple of guys can get. So I appreciate his friendship, and I always will. So that's nice. Okay, now, there's always been one thing that's bothered me about Mark, but I was worried about him a long time, because those of us who know Mark know he's a perpetual student. He was never sure of what he wanted to do. All right, I'm going for philosophy. No, I'm going to go for business. No, I'm going to go for computers. No, you know what? I'm going to be a security analyst. You know what? No, I'm going to do this. So for years, he'd hop around, not sure what he wanted out of life. He just kind of floated along. He's had how many degrees now? And all of a sudden, a year ago, or whatever it was, he calls me and says, I have this friend that I used to know, Missy, and I ran across her on MySpace. That's internet talk, for those of you who don't know. And he says, I'm going to go up and see her. I can tell. I've never heard him talk about someone this way before. He was actually a little nervous in his voice because he's meeting this girl. I said, this is kind of neat. I wonder what's going to happen here. Well, of course, he calls me 2 weeks later. Oh, by the way, I'm engaged. So knowing Mark like I did, to see that threw me for a loop. Well, it didn't last long, because it was about a week later we finally got to meet Missy, and it was all totally clear. It was like, of course, why wouldn't he just jump on it? Because she's a wonderful, wonderful girl. And anyone that could take this man from being a floater to having a corporate job, making good money, moving out of his house, all right? And all of a sudden, now I see a guy here who has focus, who sees where he's going, knows what he wants, and now he is married to the beautiful girl here, Missy. And it's just amazing what she's done for him. So we welcome you to our family. We love you. And let's eat.
Yay!